It usually doesn't begin with a plan. It begins with a moment, a random night. No schedule, no intention, just you scrolling. And then you see something, a thumbnail that feels different, clean, confident, expensive, someone talking about money like it's predictable, charts moving like they're alive, words like freedom, entries, setups. You don't fully understand it, but you don't need to, because what you feel is possibility. So you click. One video turns into 5, 5 turns into 10, and before you realize it, it's past midnight. You're not just watching anymore, you're imagining. What if I could do this? That question is where everything starts, and also thought where everything begins to get expensive. The next day, curiosity turns into action. You download a trading app, you open a demo account, and suddenly you're inside a different world. Charts flicker, numbers move, everything feels fast, alive, important. You don't know what you're doing, but you click anyway, buy, and then it happens. The number moves in your favor. You make money, not much, but enough. Enough to trigger something deeper than logic. Your heart races, your brain locks in. And just like that, you're hooked, because now you're not asking if it works, you've seen it work. Now you're asking, why isn't everyone doing this? This is where the illusion begins. You dive in completely. You start learning everything. Indicators, strategies, terminology, moving averages, RSI, support and resistance. At first it feels like progress, like you're unlocking something hidden. You watch tutorials like they're instructions to a secret system. You find strategies with insane claims, high win rates, low risk, guaranteed results. You believe them. Not because they're proven, but because you want them to be true. Eventually, you feel ready. You deposit real money. This is it. This is where it becomes real. You open your first live trade. You're confident. You've studied. You've prepared. You've seen this setup before. So you enter, and immediately it goes against you. You hesitate. You remember the advice, be patient. So you hold, but it keeps dropping. Now your chest tightens. Your thoughts speed up. And eventually, you close the trade, at a loss, not just money, but confidence. And for the first time, you feel it. This might not be as simple as it looked, but instead of stepping back, you go deeper, because now you're not just curious, you're invested, and when something doesn't work, your instinct isn't to stop, it's to fix it. So you look for more strategies, more courses, more answers. You tell yourself you're learning, and in a way, you are, but not in the way you think. You trust people who seem confident. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong, but it doesn't matter because you're still losing, slowly, consistently. And what you don't realize is you're not building skill, you're building confusion. At some point, something shifts, not dramatically, not all at once, just quietly. You get tired, not of losing, but of chasing. You stop looking for the perfect strategy. You stop switching systems. You stop reacting. And for the first time, you slow down. You sit in front of charts and do nothing. No trades, no pressure, just observation. You start noticing things, where price hesitates, where it moves fast, where it fails. Patterns begin to make sense, not because someone explained them, but because you've seen them enough. You build something simple, very simple, a small set of rules, clear conditions, no guessing, no overthinking. And when you test it, it works. Not perfectly, but consistently. And that's new. Now everything changes because now it's not about excitement, it's about control. You follow your rules, and when you don't, you feel it immediately. Losses aren't confusing anymore. They're explainable, and that gives you something you've never had before, clarity. You realize that discipline isn't about forcing yourself to act. It's about stopping yourself from acting. You learn to wait, to skip trades, to do nothing, on purpose, and that becomes your edge. As your results improve, so does the pressure, because now it matters. The numbers are bigger, the stakes feel real, losses hit harder, wins feel quieter. You don't celebrate anymore, you analyze, you adjust, you refine, and with that growth comes responsibility. To your system, to your capital, to yourself. Your life begins to change, not in obvious ways, but in subtle ones. Your habits shift, your focus sharpens, you start valuing things differently. Sleep matters, energy matters, clarity matters. Because you've seen what happens when they don't. And when people ask what you do, you simplify it. Because explaining it feels pointless. They won't understand the depth, the pressure, the process. So you just say, I trade, and leave it there. At a certain point, you stop feeling like a beginner. But you don't feel like an expert either. You just feel responsible. You understand that this isn't about winning every trade, it's about managing risk, managing yourself, managing uncertainty. You stop looking for certainty entirely because you've learned it doesn't exist. Only probabilities do. And then one day, you notice something. You're not chasing anymore. You're not reacting. You're operating calmly, precisely, without emotion, controlling your decisions. The charts haven't changed, but you have, and that's the difference. Somewhere right now, someone is opening their first trade. They're excited, curious, certain they found something powerful. You recognize that feeling because you had it too. And just like you, they're about to learn, not from videos, not from strategies, but from experience. And it will cost them time, energy, money, the same way it cost you.